You could have offered me a ride home.
You're lucky I didn't run you over.
I really don't understand what you're so unhappy about. You begged me to come, I came. There's just no pleasing you.
You're right, I'm the problem. I'm the one that needs help.
Well, that's not much of an...
Fans of The Big Bang Theory have reason to celebrate as Chuck Lorre is bringing a new spin-off featuring some of the show's most beloved supporting characters. While Sheldon, Leonard, and Penny won't be leading this time, four familiar faces are set to return, promising to bring the quirky charm and humor that made the original show a hit. The spin-off will feature Kevin Sussman as Stuart Bloom, the socially awkward yet lovable comic book store owner. Stuart, often an underdog in the original series, will now have more time in the spotlight, likely delving deeper into his personal life and relationships, including his connection with Denise. Lauren Lapkus reprises her role as Denise, Stuart's girlfriend and assistant manager at the comic book store. With a larger role in this new series, fans can expect to see more of her character's development and unique comedic energy. Brian Posehn returns as Bert Kibler, the eccentric yet endearing geologist who always provided memorable comic relief. While he was never a central figure in The Big Bang Theory, his interactions with the core group, particularly Howard and Raj, were often comedic gold. The spin-off may offer a deeper dive into his life and hilarious misadventures. John Ross Bowie is also back as Barry Kripke, the sarcastic and antagonistic Caltech scientist known for his distinctive speech impediment and rivalry with Sheldon Cooper. His role in the new show remains unclear, but his comedic tension with the rest of the cast is sure to add an entertaining dynamic. The series will be developed by Chuck Lorre, Bill Prady, and Zach Penn, the Avengers, Free Guy, ensuring the show retains the sharp wit and nerdy humor that made the original a success. While the core cast of The Big Bang Theory may not be returning, this spin-off has the potential to carve its own niche by giving supporting characters the spotlight they deserve. With Stuart, Denise, Bert, and Barry at the center, this spin-off promises a fresh yet familiar take on the beloved Big Bang universe. Fans can expect a mix of heart, humor, and geeky nostalgia as the series unfolds. Time will tell if it lives up to its predecessor, but the excitement is already building for this next chapter in the Big Bang saga. The Big Bang Theory's new spin-off cast, four familiar faces return for Chuck Lorre's new show. Alright, stop us if you've heard this one: a nerdy comic book store owner, a quirky geologist, a snarky Caltech antagonist, and a sweet assistant manager walk into a spin-off. No, it's not a bad joke. It's the lineup for Chuck Lorre's forthcoming The Big Bang Theory spin-off, and we're already feeling the excitement build up like a chemistry experiment gone right, or wrong, depending on the day. Well, we're sure the idea of the return of those characters, the ones that made us roll our eyes, laugh hysterically, and sometimes cringe, is enough to make any fan of the original show do a double-take. Who's back in this The Big Bang Theory spin-off? Lorre knows how to pull the right strings, whether it's heartstrings or, in this case, the strings of nostalgia. The good news? Some beloved characters from The Big Bang Theory are coming back to center stage in this new project. But don't expect the entire gang to show up on day one. Back in October, familiar faces Kevin Sussman, Stuart, Lauren Lapkus, Denise, and Brian Posehn, Bert, all inked deals to star in the upcoming spin-off, locking in their return to the beloved The Big Bang universe. Then, just a few months later in February, John Ross Bowie, Barry Kripke, hopped on board, securing his own holding deal to join the growing cast. Let's know more in detail. Let's start with the man who truly deserves a comic book for his own story, Stuart Bloom, the quirky comic store owner with more than a few personal struggles. We all remember Stuart as the guy who constantly teetered between being an endearing underdog and a bit of a tragic figure. In Chuck Lorre's The Big Bang Theory, Stuart was always there, quietly in the background, offering a much-needed voice of reason and sarcasm to the gang. But let's be extremely honest, the guy deserved more attention than he ever got, right? Now that he's part of the spin-off, we're hoping we finally get to see more of him, his relationship with Denise, and whatever else his nerdy life might bring. Kevin Sussman's portrayal of Stuart was both hilarious and oddly relatable, which makes him a perfect candidate for a bigger role. Whether the spin-off dives deeper into his comic book store chaos or explores his attempts at moving on from past relationships, we think there's a lot of untapped potential here. Plus, considering the friendships and awkward situations he was often tangled up in on The Big Bang, we're sure the spin-off will continue to mine the comedic gold we've come to love. Denise, Stewart's girlfriend and assistant manager at the comic book store. While she was more of a sidekick in The Big Bang Theory, we always felt like she had more to offer. Enter Lauren Lapkus, who's proven she's more than capable of handling the spotlight in shows like Orange is the New Black and Drunk History. Now, Denise is stepping into a larger role, and we couldn't be more excited to see what happens. In the original show, Denise's storylines mostly revolved around Stewart. But with the spin-off, we have our fingers crossed for a little more character development. Could we see her navigate life outside of Stewart's orbit? Maybe explore her own quirky passions, or even have her own misadventures? The possibilities are endless. Next up is Bert Kibler, played by Brian Posehn, the lovable, nerdy geologist who has always been one of those characters who is never quite the main event but always manages to leave a mark. Bert wasn't a mainstay on the show, but every time he popped up, it was guaranteed to be memorable. His interactions with the Big Bang Gang, especially with Howard and Raj, were often gold. Remember when he showed up for the guys' band practice or when he accidentally destroyed Howard's scooter? Pure comedy gold. Now, Bert is coming back for the spin-off, and we're genuinely curious about how they'll flesh out his character. Given that he's always been associated with Howard and Raj, could this spin-off finally offer some closure on his relationships with them? Will we get more funny, and possibly awkward, moments with the gang? Bert's return has a lot of potential, especially with Posehn's impeccable timing and unique brand of humor. It's definitely a come for the laughs, stay for the rock-solid rock talk type of situation. Finally, we can't forget about the one and only Barry Kripke, played by John Ross Bowie. If anyone could make Sheldon Cooper's life even more challenging, it was Kripke, the Caltech antagonist with a laugh that could only be rivaled by the sound of nails on a chalkboard. Seriously, Barry's sarcastic, often downright cruel personality made him a standout villain in The Big Bang Theory. But what about in the spin-off? What role could he possibly play here? Given that Barry's always had a major chip on his shoulder, mostly toward Sheldon, we can't help but wonder if he'll continue that same antagonistic energy in the new show. Sure, Barry isn't exactly the warm and fuzzy type, but he could add some much-needed tension and comedic spice to the cast, and considering that he's still working alongside Bert, who doesn't exactly have a warm and fuzzy personality either, their dynamic could provide endless comedic possibilities. We're hoping for some hilarious back and forths and maybe a few surprising moments.